Hey, and welcome back to my channel, Left Field Mama, where I focus on parenting against the grain. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join me in my unconventional parenting journey. Today, I want to talk about anxiety and fear in our children. They're real emotions, but how do we help them through that? As adults, we think, well, let's just have conversations about how the boogeyman isn't real and how they're always going to be safe when we're out in public together. But if those are their fears, they're real to them. And so what do we do to help alleviate those fears? Especially when they show up during times that might not be so opportune. For instance, my children usually would have anxiety or their fears would show up during transitions. And that might be getting on the school bus to go to school. It sometimes could be right before vacation. It could be before a sporting event. And almost always it showed up during bedtime. Does that resonate with you? You get your kids all tucked in nice and tight. You read that book with them. You give them a big kiss. You turn the light off. You go downstairs to hit some Netflix and boom, your kids show up. They need a drink. Their stomach hurts. Their tooth hurts. They can't sleep. The amount of excuses that comes out of their mouth just over and over can sometimes drive a parent batty, right? So one of the things as I was digging into this, I realized is that my children are so distracted during the day that it's bedtime when things get quiet and their mind works, and then they start thinking about the fears that cause all of their anxiety. And even if it's a silly fear and we want to try to talk with them about how the boogeyman isn't real or your teeth aren't going to fall out, they're real to them. And so one of the best pieces of advice that was given to me that has worked with my children hands down every time is a simple concept called the worry box. So today I'm going to share with you what the worry box looks like and how we use it in our house so that you might be able to apply that in your family. So the worry box is very simple. I'm going to show you my daughter's worry box. This is it here. Simply, I gave her a cardboard box, a shoe box, any kind of box will work, had them decorate it, put their creativity in it, make it their own. So as you can see, we just wrapped this in paper. We did a little, button closure. She decorated it, made it hers. And then we spent some time talking about what this worry box is. And I shared with my daughter how this box is where we're going to put our worries. So things that are bothering us, we're going to start loading into this box because this box is going to help us move through our worries. And so once we finished this, we sat down with some paper and I had her write out her worries. One worry per slip of paper. If your children are a little bit younger and writing is difficult, you can do the writing for them, or they can draw pictures, whatever works for them. As they wrote those worries, they put them in the box. From there, we took this box to her room where she could see it and sat there. If at any time during the day there was a new worry that came up, I could remind her to go add it to her worry box. But most of the time what I noticed is once she wrote them all out, there weren't a whole lot more to add throughout the week. For us, we usually wait 7 days on this, but you can adjust the time if 3 days is better or 5 days. But at the end of the 7-day period, we then take this box downstairs, we sit together and we open it. And what I have her do is I have her read each slip of paper and tell me what her worry was and did it go away. And I'll tell you, almost every single time her worries were gone. And then once we went through it, we threw it in the trash and we just said, thank you. Our worries are over. They're gone. And we just repeat this process anytime we find that we have a lot of worries that are coming into our life. I'll be honest, I find that with my children, they tend to have worries and fears that kind of come in cycles and seasons. For instance, maybe when you're on summer break, there's less, but during the school year, there might be more, and that's okay. And that's where this box is really handy because you just pull it out when you need it. But if you have children who are really struggling with anxiety, whether they have a diagnosed anxiety disorder or they just are, worry warts, or they just, have normal fears, this is a great tool to use in your home where you really empower them to acknowledge those fears that they have and put them in the box and give it up. And you can use this as a great reference point during the day. If there's a fear that your child has, is reminding them that it's in the worry box and so we can let it go. And it has been just such a great tool for our family. And I hope that it's something that you can apply to your family and that it will give your children more sleep and restful nights. And maybe you'll get a little bit more me time in the evenings. Okay, so now you know how to make your very own worry box, and hopefully that will help you and your children work through their anxieties and fears. If this video helped you out, I'd love you to give me a like. And of course, please join me in my unconventional parenting journey. I have lots of tips that I'll be sharing along the way, so hit that subscribe button and follow along with me.